Guys, just a bit of a rundown on where the heck I've been for the last month. I've kind of gone and hurt myself, and they had to take me away in an ambulance. So I thought I'd put together a bit of a video of how and what you should be doing with lifting around, safely lifting around the workshop. Anyway, back to hurting myself. I was lifting quite a heavy piece of steel, and I've done it 100 times before, and just this one particular time I didn't sort of do it with both my legs. I used one arm and one leg, leant right over and just sort of lifted it up, and that was very bad. It was excruciating amount of pain. It was like someone had just sort of cut my leg off. It was that bad where I had to, the wife called the ambulance, and they took me away. I spent 3 nights in hospital. It wasn't just muscular pain. I'd actually put a bulge in one of my discs between L3 and L4 vertebrae apparently. And that bulge was sort of pushing against a nerve, and that nerve was the part that was giving me the massive amount of pain, which caused me not to be able to stand up. And anyway, it was really bad. According to the MRI, they said a CT scan wasn't enough to be able to see it properly, so they did one anyway, then did an MRI, but that was fine. Food was okay. Anyway, so I spent a couple of nights in hospital. They did an MRI and they released me, you know, with a big script of painkillers and all sorts of things like that. Anyway, so I've just been doing some light work around the workshop. I've done a video or 2 which will come out next week. Don't go lifting anything heavy because you'll regret it. Yeah, so back to lifting in the workshop. Here's a few ideas and things that I use around the workshop that I should have used to not have a back injury. So the few things that you can use to do substantial lifting, one of them is machinery. I'm quite lucky to have an excavator, a small excavator. It's only a 1.7 ton machine, bigger than machine, more weight you can carry, I guess. But my machine, without the bucket on, you can lift without too much trouble, probably 500-600 kilos, half a ton, metric ton. And I've put a jib on it that I can hook onto the quick attachment. It gives me another just under 2 meters in height. So it doesn't give me any more lifting capacity, but gives me more lifting height. So I've used that a few times on a few jobs. I did it on the cabin when I was building the deck. There'll be a link below for the cabin video. So it was just a big help. It got me more height where I couldn't physically lift, even on ladders. 2 of us on a ladder lifting a beam up on to put a deck together. So it was very helpful for that. It's a lifting device. So even without the lifting jib, the extension jib, it can lift, you know, easy 500 kilos, as you'll see. It lifts that motor and the transmission in and out with great ease. It's a big help. The other thing that I use, you know, machinery wise, is my little tractor. It has a loader frame, bucket attachment on the front. I do use it for just lifting straight off the frame, and I also use it with that little jib on it. The jib makes, you know, just same again, it just gives you a bit more length, a bit more height, sorry. It's about 1 meter long, so it increases the height by about 1 meter. The lifting frame only lifts to about 1800, and then it's 1 meter above that. So, and it doesn't have a massive lift, it's probably 300 kilos. And also have a forklift. It's an old pallet jack which I've converted to attach onto the front of the tractor. So it's like a little forklift, a mini forklift you could say. And I use it a lot, a heck of a lot, to lift a lot of things around the place. Now the other lifting devices that we've got, that people have got available, that I've got available, is an engine crane. So I have this engine crane. Actually, I've got 2 of them. This one, according to the stickers, only goes to 1200 kilos. And that's with this slide out part all the way in. Gives you 1200 kilos, which doesn't quite sound right, but after looking at some of these welds, I kind of think, yeah, it's probably only really your 1200 kilo. Like there's heaps of undercut. Anyway, it's not a welding video. Anyway, so back to lifting. So that one's only a 1200 kilo lift, but my other, according to its labels and everything, now I don't see any real difference. They look virtually the same, but if you have a bit of a look-see, that says 8 ton on the hydraulic ram. I don't see much different, but that says 8 ton, where the other one is, I think it says 7.5. 7.2. The actual ram capacity isn't as big, but I think it's just a little bit more heavy duty on the red one. Probably shows with the weld, that's some of the welding is on that 1200 one. It's scary. Like, I mean, they're both probably made in China, but besides that, they're engine lifting devices for cars, and you know, they fit all sorts of things. Good, handy around the workshop. The downside with them is the long legs that, you know, they fold out and they're in the way. Like, they're just annoying. They're in the way. So a better device, which is like the tractor or the excavator, it doesn't have that limit to the room, so you can actually hold it out above the job and things like that. But they're hydraulic, and hydraulics do creep at times, even fairly new. But anyway, enough of those kind of things. There's the other apparatuses that I use in my shed is a Gantry Crane, which is just over there. And I did do a video of this a few years ago, and it's a little trolley with a little electric winch. Comes all the way down here, has a control on it. It comes out of the way, and I've used it for many lifting things. Like, you can lift, say if you've picked something up in the ute and it's really heavy, I just back the ute into the roll door and just put a sling around it, and up you go. And then you can move it anywhere along the beam. A friend of mine and myself made that beam. It's just a huge big chunk of pipe, like a large diameter piece of pipe with a small I-beam welded to the bottom, just to give it rigidity and to run the trolley on it, the gantry trolley. So it runs along it quite well. So that is very handy, and it runs just on 240 volt. There's down and up, emergency stop. So it's quite good. We've put an extra set of pulleys on the bottom so it goes slower and will lift more weight. I'm pretty sure it's only like a 500 kilo lift, but you really wouldn't want any more on this big chunk of pipe anyway on the beam. So that should be plenty for that. So we've never, like, I mean, the dolly at the top on the tag there says 1,000 kilos, so you can check that video out. I'll put the link in the description for that install. But yeah, that's just another option. It's very handy because it runs along a beam, and it goes from the opening of the shed to the roll door, from the roll door to the other end of the shed. So I can lift big long pieces of steel and things like that. To go along with all these lifting apparatuses, you need some chains and a few slings to assist you with all of this. Like this here is just an 8mm mild steel chain. It used to be available for just box trailers and things like that, but now you have to have the chain stamped. In Australia anyway, I'm not sure about anywhere else, but in Australia you have to have it stamped, so that chain is not good for anything else but whatever you want to do with it. So I just wrap it around stuff or on engine blocks or things like that. And I also have a good handful at any point in time of D-shackles. I have a little one there. It's WLL 1.0 ton. So, and these ones are the next size up. These are WLL 2 ton. So it's always good to have a bunch of them. So I have a bunch of them and a bunch of them, always good. And they're all stamped. The much larger one, it's a 4 ton, I think, or 4.7 ton. It's just bigger in diameter. Now these shackles, multiple sizes, they're not very expensive. You can get little tiny ones like these, but they're not stamped or anything, so you don't really know what they can handle. but I've had 800 kilos hanging off one of those and no trouble ever. So I've also got multiple other little pieces of chain for different jobs and different weights, and this thing I find very, very handy. It's just a swivel. Like if you're lifting something and you need to bring it around in a circle, this is ideal, as long as you've got plenty of height and you're not losing your lifting ability. So I use that quite a lot. And big chains, these are 3-ton chains, very, very handy with adjusters on them, and I use them a fair bit. Straps, I've got a bunch of straps. The purple ones, sorry, are a 1 ton, 1 metric ton. Let's see if I can find one with a tag. Oh, here we go. Here's a very grubby one. Has a little tag on it there. I think that just has the serial number. But the purple ones are 1 ton, and the green ones, here's a nice new green one. Somewhere, I'll find a tag eventually. There we go. That's what the tags are supposed to look like. So this one is a, if you can read it, it's a 2 ton. So it's 2 meters long in a loop. So if you lay it out, it's just a big donut. Now, some people probably think, well, how are you going to get it around stuff or in stuff? Or it's really easy to slip a D-shackle. You can slip a D-shackle straight through there and into something that you're lifting, or something with an eyelet that is welded onto it. And the other way is to loop it around something. So when you loop it around something and sort of tie it back onto itself, it's pretty easy to lift every and anything with. So you can never have too many. So you can never have too many of these straps. I've got quite a few of them, and they're all really handy. You can loop them together, tie them back onto each other, and I find that you can tow stuff with it. You're not meant to, but they're meant to be just for lifting apparatuses only. But because when you tow something, it sometimes has a jolt, so it's preferably not to use that. You use just an old daggy chain or something that, not a good lifting chain like this one, because this has a tag on it. So has a recommended lifting tag and angles that you can, if you've got something that's long, and how much weight you can carry when you're pulling it out at different angles. So being a good 2-leg sling, it's very handy. Yeah, so you never use just a high quality chain, especially a high tensile one, for towing, ever, never ever. If you're going to use a chain or a strap or something, just use any old mild steel, something like that, or something else which you can use. This is just a webbing type strap, and I'm not sure the capacity of this one. It doesn't actually have a tag on it, but I've had this one for quite a few years. I've used it a couple of times. I think it's probably like a 2-ton towing strap, so you can just tow cars along with it if need be. But anyway, back to lifting. Lifting is the reason for the video. Also with the excavator, I can have a grab or a thumb and the bucket, and I can grab hold of big pieces of heavy steel. Actually, I lifted up some I-beams up on a job the other day, which was really, really handy. We didn't have a strap with us or anything, so I just used the thumb, and it didn't damage the I-beams or anything, so it just did the job nicely. So anyway, back to lifting things inside the workshop. That gantry, it's only an electric one, a 240 volt one, and it's designed as a lifting winch, which is different than a normal winch that you would have, you can buy for a 4-wheel drive and things like that, a winch that you mount on a bull bar. Now I've also made a few brackets. I've got a video that's coming out soon that is about the whole process of making a winch bracket that hooks into a tow bar. So you can hook it into a tow bar receiver, like a square receiver, but 50mm in Australia. So you can use those winches in a receiver. I've also made one on the front of the tractor, which also you can put the jib into. Smaller version here, which I just hook on the tractor every now and then. It just has a little Anderson plug on it. and it doesn't have rollers or anything, it just has a little feed ring there and a 2-inch receiver, so you can hook it up exactly the same way as this big one. Just this has got a much longer, bit more girth on it, so it fits under a spare wheel or something in a 4-wheel drive, things like that. The little one's only like a 3,000 pound, yeah, there it is. So it only lifts, if needs to, about a ton. Now both of the manufacturers do not recommend to use them as a lifting device. You know, like these ones, they're designed for lifting. These ones are designed for pulling. And that is correct. You can use them however you want to. If you need to lift something with them, you do it however you want. I'm not recommending that you should. But what we've done with them in the past is pulled up big beams or an A-frame or something to like hook them onto a vehicle, and you just winch something up like something big and long, and it pulls it up like a big boom somehow. Now, this one also comes with a remote, detachable remote, so it's really handy in that aspect. So it becomes wireless, which is very handy. But I've got a full video on that coming out, I think next week, on the actual build of this large one, the bracketry and everything for it. And I've just got the original leads. Because I put it onto every and any vehicle, I've just put bolts in the end so it doesn't continually arc out on the little tiny tabs that are there. So you just hook on jumper leads, and then you hook jumper leads straight to your car or your car battery or whatever you're doing it on with. So this little one, I just, because it's small and so is my tractor, it's ideal with the Anderson plug on it. It only runs a 50 amp lead. It's a bit of a giveaway. You look at the size of the wire on the little one there compared to these things here, they're vastly different. Some other things that you should be aware of, which I never used to be many years ago. I never thought much about lifting things around the workshop. Just lifting buckets rather than just bending over and doing damage to your back, especially if it's heavy. Like light things are okay, but if you're doing a lot of them, it does hurt your back after a while. So if you if it's a two-handed lift, you need to consider where you're going to put it. Like you can pick it up and then go, where am I going to put it? So you need to make sure that where you're going to put it onto a bench or something, that there's actually room for it. Many a time I've lifted things and thought, oh, there's nowhere, there's too much crap lying around. Anyway, so the other things to think about is in the workshop is labeling on boxes. Like, I mean, I've got a few boxes around here, and they've got warnings on them, warnings on lifting amounts. Like some boxes, they don't look so big and heavy, but if you have a quick look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's a bit heavy. So another thing that you can use as a lifting device, now it's not recommended, but you can use it, is the hoist. You can see I've lifted the body off the chassis with it, and it's suspended. It does have safety locks, this big lever here, it's a safety lock. So you can use that and have it suspended there. But say if you back your trailer into the shed and you just, like you haven't got a car hanging off it, you back the trailer into the shed and you sling a rope or something around it, you can lift something heavy off without too much trouble, then put it on a trolley and then wheel it out of your way. So you can use it, it's not recommended. The manufacturer doesn't like you doing anything like that. They say don't use it for anything else other than lifting cars. Okay, yep, fair enough. If you had to. So if you had to use it, you would, wouldn't you? I would. I haven't needed to yet. I've got plenty of other things to lift stuff around with. That's the other option, is using a hoist if you're lucky enough to have one. So anyway guys, I hope this video has been some help for you on how not to lift some things like I did. Don't just use one leg for all the weight and then one arm, or right arm, whichever arm. Try and do it, to get with both your legs, both your arms, and lift it, especially if you think, oh, you might be pushing it. It was incredible, but the amount of pain, I couldn't believe how strong a pain it was. Like scale of 1 to 10, it was like 25. It was excruciating. I could not believe how bad it was. So anyway, they took me away in an ambulance, and I'm on the mend, and in the next few weeks you'll get to see the next few videos. I'll be coming back into this project, the V8 Lancer post-apocalyptic vehicle. So look forward to those. And guys, if this video has been of any help for you about lifting things around the workshop, you know, consider subscribing. That would be awesome. Give us a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff that they say you're supposed to do, because no one else is going to help me grow the channel but you guys. So if you like this kind of thing, subscribe, and there'll be plenty more to come. Anyway guys, catch you in the next one. See ya.